Hey, I have my timer myself. Okay. Hi, my name is Salome. I'm an English teacher. I have a little slide to introduce myself. I'm an English teacher. I started teaching in elementary school and then I moved to adults. I did an MA in language testing, so I'm here today to talk about assessment, but not particularly about any strategies or context or issues about assessment, but it's more like an invitation to the new Latin American Association for Language Assessment and Testing. So let me contextualize a little bit what the organization is. Usually language assessment is not discussed by language teachers or in teachers in general, but language teachers mainly. Preparation that language teachers received in assessment comes from the general education most of the times and is not specific to language teaching. So we immediately in our teacher training have a lack of preparation in language assessment issues. So it's very common that we don't discuss in language assessment or language testing. And we have this kind of love and hate relationship with tests and ways of assessing our students. But language assessment nowadays is not only informing about what a student can do. It's not only focused on individuals and observing those individuals and creating ways of getting evidence to interpret how much progress this person is making in terms of language learning. It also has a social function, and it informs societies and governments about the population. For example, in Australia as a gatekeeper with the IELTS as a test for citizenship, and it also happens in the UK. So it has a very important role, not only in the classroom, but in society itself. What happens in our context, we have discovered in these last months, it's that, as I said before, it's not the topic that is usually discussed, that it's not that common to find language assessment teachers or language assessment researchers. But at the same time, we have national English tests at the governmental level or regional level, or sometimes exit tests in high school. So it does exist. It is there. But don't have the expertise in language assessment. International organizations come and prepare these tests for us. So there was this need of raising the issue and started discussing about language testing and assessment. There are a lot of associations in the world of language testing, and here are some of them. We have the International Association of Language Testing, the European, the Language Testing Association in the UK, the Iranian one, the Japanese, etc., etc., etc. But what about us? What about Latin America? And we have founded one. Proudly, I'm presenting the Language Assessment Association for Latin American Association for Language Testing and Assessment that was founded in July in the Language Testing Research Colloquium that was held in Bogota in the last conference. It was the first time the conference was held in a Latin American country, and it was organized by the Universidad de los Andes. The people from Universidad de los Andes received a fund, and they were eager to invite other Latin Americans. We had a meeting with 30 attendees from different parts of the world, and there were 8 people that volunteered to organize this group. I am one of the volunteers. So there's no president, there's no treasurer, there's nothing yet. We only have 8 people that are volunteering and that want to start this project, right? Now, so we have had meetings online, 5 at the moment, and we have try to define what the association could be. So it's a new non-profit organization integrated by professionals and researchers in language assessment and testing. You all know that already. But we have defined the mission and the vision of the organization. We have inspired ourselves on the mission from the International Organization of Language Testing, and also some issues and concerns that we had in different Latin American countries. So the mission of this association is to raise awareness of social and political importance and potential impact of language assessment and testing, because governments are making decisions and establishing these tests, but nobody knows what impact that has in teaching in our schools. To increase public and professional understanding of what language assessment is, to advocate for the use and implementation of adequate ethical principles of language assessment and testing, to encourage professional growth of relevant stakeholders, and not only language testers doing the job, but informing language teachers and policymakers and other people about what language assessment involves, training administrators that use IELTS results for admin issues to understand what a 7 or a 4 or a 5 in IELTS means, etc., etc., to promote research in the area of language assessment, and to disseminate relevant theoretical information in state-of-the-art research studies, especially in Latin America, because there have been a couple of things written about language assessment in our countries, and we don't know about it. So if you're interested, or if you know anybody that is interested in language testing or language assessment, we are at the moment, we have opened the invitation. So we're looking for teachers, researchers, and professionals who are interested in the area and who would like to take part, who would like to receive. At the moment, we have nothing but a mailing list. And we would like to start sharing news about conferences, call for papers for journals, for online talks, etc., etc. We only have members of people interested from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, and Peru. That were the people that were in the meeting. I have ready here a list of now in the last month, other people have joined. We have 22 people from Chile, 1 person from Ecuador, 3 people from Colombia, 1 from Belize, 1 from Ecuador, 1 from El Salvador, 1 from Spain, 3 from Honduras, 14 from Mexico, and 1 from Panama. So please share the information with your colleagues. We do need more people who really want, if you're really interested, or you know anybody who's interested, please tell them to send me an email. I'm in charge of the database at the moment, so I can share the mission and vision with them and explain a little bit what this is about. And that's all I had to say. No worries. I thought the names would actually light up the presentation a little bit. So yeah, let's start talking about assessment, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable.